What's going on, guys? I am SimpleSimon.
Hang on, I'm not ready.
What's going on, guys? I am SimpleSimon. I'm your comic book noob. Welcome to the second episode of the Noob universe, Mark. We're in a new universe.
What?
We're in a new universe, a whole new universe.
Really? I'm the same old me, but
I know. No, this is you in a different SimpleVerse. Yeah,
I don't feel any different.
I know, but there's something different about you. We'll see as the time goes on. You're a little bit older than the...
I'm still missing 2 teeth.
Oh, that's true.
If I'm going to go to a new universe, I want my teeth back. All right? I want superpowers. I want to be a bit taller. Taller would be good.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about community, comic book communities specifically, because there is not just one, there are many, but at the end of the day, we all are one. Till all are one.
Okay, no worries, Musketeer.
I thought it was a Transformers thing.
No, all for one, one for all is a Musketeer thing.
Till all are one.
I'm just old.
You know Transformers.
What, the robots in disguise?
Yeah. In the movie, Till All Are One, Optimus Prime. Never mind. Let's do this. Quick shout out to my Siminions. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in exclusive members only videos, extended episodes of the Noob, and exclusive emojis, hit the join button to find out more about channel membership. But remember, your membership is not required. The best way to support the channel is by liking and commenting on videos. Perks. Alright, so I guess before we start...
Do people comment on this? Because it's like really, from here it's really prolific.
It's very good, isn't it? And it's very...
It's really prolific. Like but when you watch us, you don't take notice of it.
I take
notice
notice.
That?
I edit, so I watch these over and over. Anyway, so comic book community, Mark. So I know one thing, that my channel would not be where it is today without finding the YouTube comic book community. So it was a big deal for me to find community, but I think it's really important too, right? Because there's been a lot of drama lately. There's been a lot of drama lately.
For a person who doesn't like to be close and touchy-feely, fucking hell, mate.
There's been a lot of drama in the YouTube content.
What, there has been a bit of drama?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. We're not going to get into that. That's not what this is about today. I guess what I want to talk about is obviously before Big City. Let's go back to the beginning. When you got into the comic book scene, as an adult though.
As a younger person, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because that was a long time ago. But obviously I know you're friends with, is it Matt from Comics R Us?
Yeah, of course.
And stuff like that. So obviously, I guess about that scene, how'd you guys all meet and things like that back in the day? Was it just meeting at comic fairs and things like that?
No, not really. Just became friends with Matthew because I was a customer of his for a long time.
Okay, so you met him through the shop?
Yeah, absolutely.
But were there people that you knew from going to comic fairs and things like that too?
Not really.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't. Okay. I had no community apart from me, my cousins, and that's it. Like 2 of my cousins, right?
Okay.
So do you remember back in the day? I don't know about you, but back in my day when I was younger,
when I was like
my
5.
best friends were my cousins, relatives.
Okay. Yep.
Right. That's who were my best friends, and that's what a lot of the time. That's what it was like when I was growing up. My best friends were my relatives, were my cousins. Now it's different, I imagine, because people live apart from each other a lot. But that's what my community was. It was my cousins, and we would get together, skip school, go comic book shopping, in the city, because that's where you would go. Chapel Street and Camberwell were also 2 stores that we would go to. So
Camberwell, what was in Camberwell?
Alternate Worlds.
It was in Camberwell?
Yeah, they had one in Chapel Street and they had one in Camberwell. But that was my community. I didn't really have a community, didn't really have a meet-up. I did go to probably a Comic-Con, you would call it. But, it was all like-minded people. But back then, there's not like communities like there is now.
Yeah, because these days
Totally
it's very
evolved.
easy. You've obviously got, I'll give you an example for, that's a good one, Australia-wide here, is Facebook groups. So obviously you've got like Grail Hunters.
Correct.
They've got a really solid community that communicate with each other. I definitely, now, I don't know if it's just because obviously I create content and people see the videos and they know me through that, but obviously by going to all the comic fairs and things like that now, you see the same faces and they all kind of chat. I think a lot of it relates back to Grail Hunters. I think Grail Hunters is really a big deal here in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
For collectors, but also obviously you've created communities by being a shop owner, right?
Yeah, of course. I made it a point to create a community. I introduced everyone to everyone. So, and I've introduced you to my community, and you've introduced me to your community, and you know, it's like-minded people. And when we do get together, we don't only talk about comics. There's other things, you know, that we talk about that you know, maybe you want to talk about something that's on your chest that you want to get it out. You know, like I created a group of things that we could talk about. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. I find that the community is very accepting of everything. We're very open-minded with anything. So if anyone has any issues, you know, a bit of mental health issues, you know, we're all happy to listen and be there for that person. And you know, that movie that you didn't like, you know, you get it out of your system.
I definitely have found that, and the crazy thing for me, because obviously my community that I'm part of is worldwide, obviously the YouTube comic book community, and yeah, I've had some really solid, you know, deep and meaningfuls with people on the other side of the world that I've never been in the same room with, that I may never meet in real life ever. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, me and Super Russ are very close. You know, I know he goes through a lot of you know, stresses in his life, and you know, we've had some D&Ms before, and I think it's important.
D and M's?
D and M's, deep and meaningfuls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's important to have a community, right? Especially a lot of people I've met through this as well.
I call it a support network.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people I've met through this as well have always been like, have kind of reached out to me through comment sections and videos and things, and a lot of them are like, you know, I'm into comic books, I'm into all this stuff, but I don't have any other friends that are into this stuff. And that's where the community plays a big role. You know, it's like your real life friends you don't, you know, have this in common with, but then you got these people that you barely know, but you've got this one thing in common that really bonds you together.
Correct.
Your original shop in Fitzroy, I definitely noticed a community there, because I used to go in there all newbie, didn't know anyone. I was just like, don't talk to me, leave me alone. But Mark had this crowd of people that would be lining up, waiting for him to open in the morning. How many of those people crossed over, like, when you moved shops?
All of them.
All of them?
No, not all of them.
I mean, look, you was a pretty big, it's a pretty big move, like obviously moving quite far away. Because I know you used to do the powwow, so Mark does this thing where he invites his customers, really, who've become his friends. Everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. Even if it's just if you're part of the community, the big city community, everyone's invited.
Yeah, so he used to do them like once a month, but it was always on a Thursday night, so I could never go because I used to work Thursday nights. And you know, I've been to a couple now since you've been at this way. But what were the previous ones like? You know, like, because again,
yeah, they were good.
There's a lot of the guys from the Fitzroy store that I didn't really get to meet then, because now every time I'm in, if someone comes in the shop, Mark's always like, oh, you know Simon, yeah? If not, he introduces. I didn't know a lot of the old customer base.
So a lot of the old customer base don't come to the powwows. When I was in Fitzroy, a lot of that area used to come to the powwows, absolutely. But on this side, like Jin, for instance, never came to the powwows, right? But he's recently coming to the powwows, and Sean. I always do them. Like last time, I didn't have a lot of numbers last time, but I still do them. And I always tell her, whether you come or not, it's no biggie. Catch the next one, but I'll still be there. I've always said this. It's somewhere where you can go, and it's like, I always use this example, and people who are familiar with will know that I always use this example, is that you can go to work and, you know, have a water cooler conversation with the person in the next cubicle and say, hey man, did you watch that last episode of Game of Thrones? How good was that? Everyone was watching Game of Thrones. That was so good. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen there? What do you think is going to happen next episode? You can't go to work and say, did you read that latest issue of Batman? You know, I mean, people will look at you and go, what? You know, so the community that I try to create in the powwows gives people that opportunity when they don't have anyone to speak about what they're reading or what they're watching. You know, that's what I do. I give them that support to talk about it, because I know when I talk to Nina about, you know, what I'm reading or what I'm watching, or she'll be polite and give me the respect where she nods and yes honey, no worries, but she doesn't really care. And that's fine, I get that. But you know, I want something, you know, when you're having a conversation with someone, and you would agree, you want something, you want an opinion to come back at you. You know, you want that conversation. So
I'm very fortunate at one of my jobs anyway. There is me, Sarah, and 3 other people that are into comic books. So and definitely, obviously, that's where I was working when I first started getting into this hobby, and it was so helpful being able to work, because people at your work, they're the people you spend every day with, you know what I mean? So they become your family, and even if there's people that you don't like amongst work, it's a similar thing. It's this community that you're part of every day. And I think being at that workplace when I first got into this was so helpful. I had two friends, Tony, who you've met, and one of my mates, Ashby. They were like, oh, why don't we'll take you to the city and we'll go to all the shops. And they showed me around. I had no idea about anything. I was buying trade paperbacks back then. I bought like a trade. I looked at all the single issues and I didn't know where to start. Yeah, having that sort of friendship group at work who kind of knew a little bit about the hobby. They weren't crazy about it like, I eventually became, but they'd been collecting long enough that they kind of knew how to show me the ropes, and if I ever had questions about characters, and I still ask to this day, I ask Mark all the time about characters, and he doesn't know everything. But yeah, it's good to have that support network. Sorry for touching you, Mark.
What is it today? What's with the touchy-feely today?
We're friends, man. This is a different SimpleVerse where we're touchy-feely with each other.
Not the, stay your fucking elbow length, man. Well, jeez.
The COVID era is over.
Every time we talk, you get closer to me. Far out. No, that's changed now?
So now that you're into the bunker, it's phase 3 of Big City, how are you finding, I guess, still
I find the community getting better.
Yeah.
Because it's much closer. So they tend to come all at once. On a Saturday or a Friday or even a Thursday. It's the same. I just find that nothing has changed. To be honest, it's not better or worse, it's just the same.
Because obviously now, you're going to start doing more comic fairs and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you done a couple now since? Have you been able to get new people on board through that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I just think as far as people locally, I think Grail Hunters is a great way and to be honest, I don't use
Grail Hunters is awesome, Neville is great.
I don't use Facebook, so I'm not really on there much. I do see the things on there, but I just feel like everyone who I kind of meet through the comic book scene down here, everyone knows Grail Hunters, so that's a great group.
It is a great group.
And then I guess the only other way really is finding a good LCS that is about having community, because not all stores are, I find.
I don't know. Look, I can't speak about other locals. I can't speak about other businesses, but I know I do. I try to introduce everyone to everyone, create that community. Even
Instagram obviously has a big community of people, because all they're doing is sharing their collections, sharing the types of comics that they like and things like that, and that's really a good community too, because you can DM each other and things like that. There's people I've met purely through Instagram as well, who I've chatted to, so. Because online's easy. Online, you don't have to meet. So obviously a lot of people get anxiety meeting people in real life.
I don't know. You got to find someone who speaks your language, some people, they attracted to a certain person's opinion or personality. Finding a community that you've got a voice on as well, if you want a voice. It's hard to say how you're going to find one. I'm too old to tell people how to find something on the internet. I'm not a Google expert, but one thing I have to recommend, if you're finding something on the internet, make sure something that's not toxic, too negative. There are heaps of negative, especially on YouTube, where they just want clickbait.
Obviously, when it comes to YouTube, that is also a way to connect with people, but I would say you probably want to do it more on a smaller scale. Those big channels who have 200,000 subscribers, they've got too many people to care about what you have to say in most cases. I'm not saying everyone, but I've met a lot of the YouTube channels, when we're all small channels sort of things, and some channels are going to forever be small channels, but they're the ones who are going to take the time and really appreciate the people who,
it's not only appreciate, but who appreciate the medium, the comic books, not just rag on every comic book just because they don't like it. They rag on it. Yeah, it's something that's non-toxic.
Yeah, but you're going to get a lot more of that on the bigger channels. I mean,
of course, because it's all clickbait. Absolutely.
Yeah. So support your small YouTube comic book channels. That's what I'm saying.
Well, who are we voting for?
Not me.
Isn't it the voting up?
No, it's finished. Nominations are done.
Oh, you should have put this video out before.
I'm not trying to fish for votes.
Yeah.
Just supporting, mate. It's all about. I mentioned I did a video about the awards, and most people probably didn't make it to the end. But basically, I was trying to say, it's fine if you want to campaign for your own channel and push your own channel, whatever. If that's what you want to do, but I think when it comes to something like the Comic Book Community Awards, you should push other channels and not yourself.
It's not only other channels. You're not in it. You don't do. It's like I always say to you, when you do things for the wrong reasons, it becomes corrupt. You got to figure out why you're doing it. Why are you having a YouTube channel? Is it for you? Is it for the people? Is it for the money? But it's got to be, that reason has got to be pure, not false.
I learned very early on from the people who supported me in my early days on YouTube how supportive they really were. So I've always sort of had that same attitude. You know, I always like to think that, you know, I'm not what's great about my channel. What's great about my channel is
me.
The other people that I bring on as well. You know what I mean?
It's me.
This guy.
It's me.
Mark's going to start a YouTube channel one day, and I guarantee you he'll vote for himself in every category.
I will not. I will not.
He'll start his YouTube channel. I was like, oh, do you want to film this week? And he'll be like, no, I don't do your channel anymore.
I'm too big for your channel, mate.
Yeah. And that's it. How about this angle, guys? Have you ever seen this side of the shop? Is it a shop?
It's a shop. Of course it's a shop. Shut up. Smart ass.
If you guys are still watching this video, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, let us know what community means to you and things like that. And anything else to say, Mark?
Be kind and rewind.
Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Keep it simple.